What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are, Friday morning, mission accomplished. Up $2,200. That's 2 green days in a row. That's brick number 2, rebuilding, or maybe the second shovelful, digging myself out of the hole. It's actually kind of a funny phrase because when you're in a hole, you really don't want to keep digging, you want to climb out. So I've climbed about, 15% of the way out of the hole, maybe almost 20% out of the hole. So, digging my way out, slow and steady, and that's just going to be, where I'm at here for the next couple weeks, digging myself out of this hole. And, the cool thing is, by the time I get all the way out, that will be right around the time that I cross this $1 million mark, since I dropped right before I crossed the line. So, kind of funny like that. But yeah, so now we're on maybe a little bit of a hot streak. 2 green days in a row, solid action. Today was a little slower than yesterday. Yesterday we had a great gap scanner alert, jumped in, made $3,300 in the first 10 seconds of the day. Today it was a little slower, didn't see a lot of opportunity. First trade wasn't until like 9:45, but was still able to come out on top. So, that's good. That's exactly how I wanted to finish the week. 2 green days, kind of put that, between me and that red day on Wednesday, could barely even remember it. Just clear the slate, get a weekend to recharge, come back Monday morning ready to trade. All right, so that's the game plan. Monday morning, 9:15, right here, live streaming. I'll see you guys then. All right, everyone. So we'll do our midday market recap here. It's a little past 10:30. I'm going to finish it up and be done for the day. Up $2,246.96. So second green day in a row, bouncing back a little bit. I started the day with a red trade, down $1,500, and I was able to slowly kind of dig myself out of that hole, making $225 on SRNE, and then making $143 on DCAR, then making $1,700 on NETS, putting me green on the day, and then making $1,700 on ATIS, putting me up $2,200 on the day. So not the easiest day. Fridays sometimes are a little tricky, and this one, we didn't have a lot on the gap scanner that looked good. So my first trade wasn't even until, 9:45 when I jumped into MYT. So the first 15 minutes, which is yesterday, was where I made my $3,300. No trades, no opportunities. So, why don't we look at the gap scanner here from this morning, and we can kind of look at, how I was breaking things down. So, I'll do a historical scan here for 9:25. So, this morning we had IMMP as our leading gapper, up 41%. However, this one didn't meet my criteria for home run potential because the float was 29 million shares, and it's not a former runner. So I just didn't feel confident on it, and that was the right move. No trades. This one sold off. So no trades on this one. Next one was BPTH. Price is too high. Didn't trust it. No trades. Next one down, KIQ. Float is 43 million shares. No trades. Didn't feel good on that one. Next one down, HIBB. $22 stock is too expensive. Next one down is SEAL. This one I was watching. Price 263, float 800,000 shares, up 16%. So everything checked out there except that there was no news. And when we looked on the daily chart, we saw this, last big red candle. So I was a little unsure of whether it would work. And right out of the gates, you can see how the bell rang, and it did pop up. It did tap 88, and I hesitated on it. I saw some big sellers on the level 2. 10, 15, 20,000 share sellers stacked up, and I just didn't feel confident. It broke 75, popped here up to 88. That was the cleanest trade of the morning, maybe 5-6 cents of potential. You never get, perfect entry and perfect exit. So if you get in a little high and you get out a little low, that's what you're making. But it didn't hold that level and came back down. It did end up curling here, back through the VWAP. Although this is sort of a tough entry when it happens just kind of out of nowhere like that, and I didn't feel comfortable jumping in and chasing it. So I ended up not trading it at all. I sort of felt like there probably were a lot of bag holders, a lot of people under the water from this day here that bought it and are still holding. And so as it curls up, those are people that are going to be selling their shares. So no trades on seal. BRN, not much volume. OSS, this one was sold off yesterday, and then today is just sort of bouncing off the lows. So no trades on this one. And that was pretty much, the gap scan. So top 5, 10 gappers, there was nothing there for me to trade. All right, so how do I adjust? All right, so what I do in that case is I watch my high day momentum scanner. So this high day momentum scanner shows me stocks that are moving up in real time. And the first stock that hit the scan was MYT. All right, so I pull it up. I look at it, and I'm like, it checks out from float perspective. It's up 17%, it's moving. The daily chart's okay, no resistance until 289. It does not have news, so I must wait for a pullback. All right, so I waited for a pullback. Good job, Ross, following your rules. Waited for a pullback. Got in right here for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. So the entry was 44. I got in a smidge high at 45, 49, and 50. But 5 cents is within my slippage range. I'm usually okay with that. It just happened to be the top. It hit a high at 55. It popped up 5 cents, and then it dropped 30 cents. So, that's kind of a bummer. And I stopped out pretty quickly at 32 and 29, but I did lose $1,500 on 9,000 shares. So now I'm like, darn it. First trade of the day, red, and that's not a tiny loss. So that's a little disappointing. But it was like, all right, well, let's be careful. Let's just see what comes up next. And the scanner, shows MYT and then SRNE. So SRNE is 111 million share float. Typically, I wouldn't trade a stock like this. However, this morning it squeezed up from 560 all the way up to a high of 650. And so I decided to buy the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. And it actually ended up being a terrific entry and a really solid trade. So let's look at that one. All right, so on this one here, I jumped in on this little pullback, this 1-minute pullback, buying on this candle right here at 616. Now at this point, the stock already had, 4 or 5 million shares of volume, but my target was high a day, 650. On this one, I took a starter of 6,000 shares. I did not, I knew that the risk was higher. I knew that this wouldn't be the type that would just immediately go to 650. This is a higher float stock. It's going to be a grinder. But I thought if I could get a starter at 615, that given the fact that yesterday it made a really nice move, that maybe I could get in it, get a good position, and just let it ride. So I set my mental stop at 605. It's a 10-cent loss. And it squeezed up here to 625, and then it squeezed up here to 637. And I was up $1,200. And I was like, well, that's great, but I'm still thinking this is just getting started. This trade is just getting started. My kind of plan was that, I was hoping it might test 650, pull back here a little bit, and then break over 650, and maybe I'd add another 3,000 shares. But what ended up happening is it came all the way back down to $6. So that was kind of lame. It dropped down to 613, and then popped back up to 628, and that's when I got out for a $225 loss, or profit. So, on this one, I followed my rules. It's obviously a stock a little outside my wheelhouse. It's not what I typically would focus on, but, I'm trying to get a little bit better at trading some of these stocks that are grinders, and the best way to do it is to get a position, set a stop, and let it work. And on this one, I just, ended up getting stopped out. At least I made a little bit of money on it. All right, so next trade was NETS. This one was on the scanner. FUV was on the scanner as well, and I think Solo might have been on there. But I didn't really like this one yesterday. It wasn't really that easy to trade, and so today I was kind of iffy on it, and that ended up being probably the right move. DCAR, okay, this one pops up. Again, on this one, I'm waiting for the first pullback and another false breakout. On this one, I got out fast and actually made $143 of profit, but a second false breakout. All right, so as of right there, I'm still down about $1,100 on the day. And then here's NETS hitting the scans. All right, so NETS hits the scans, and when it first hits, I was kind of like, well, I'm not sure. It doesn't have news. It does seem to be a stock that has a history of making some moves here. It's more of a grinder. It's been selling off. Last time it bounced up. Here we're getting the bounce. Daily moving average 200 is at $3. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what this does. And so I'm watching it here on the 1 minute, and it hits 92 and then drops all the way down to 74. And so I pretty much looked away. I had it on my level 2 like this, and I just was looking at other stuff. I go back and look at it, and it's back at 91 by 92. So I was like, wow, this thing just it dropped and then came all the way back up. And so I got in at 93 for the break over $2. And it broke 2 and squeezed all the way up to 224. So boom, a 30 cent winner, which is great. So there, $1,700 of profit. So that ended up being a good trade. That put me back to green on the day. And then I'm still watching the scanners. Seal, I don't trust. ATIS, I pull that up and I'm like, this float is ridiculously low. Usually when they're that low, it's because of a recent reverse split. I pull it up, I see the reverse split, I see the history of this candle here, and immediately I know that this is the type of stock that does have home run potential because of the recent reverse split. And we've seen this type of setup a lot. We have a whole chapter of these reverse split setups in the Warrior Pro day trade course. And so on this one, it pops up here to a high of 63. It pulls back for a second, and I jumped in at the $0.50. It surges up here to a high of 93, and I sold, took some profit, had no problem selling on the ask, getting filled easily. And then as it dropped down here, I sold the rest as it came back down to 27, selling the rest at actually 40. So, unfortunately it didn't hold up really well. And when someone called out OPTT as another recent reverse split that was starting to move up, I was like, since ATIS just did a reverse split pop and sold off, I think probably same's going to happen on OPTT, and that is correct. SHIP is another recent reverse split. It's a matter of time before these do open up, but today wasn't the day. So, a little bit cautious, got a little bit of momentum between 10 and 10:30, and was able to dig myself from down 1,500 to up 2,200, which is a good way to finish the week. So two $2,000+ days in a row. So up just about $5,000 in the last 2 days of trading, which is nice. So, making some progress there. And this was exactly what my goal was, to finish the week with 2 green days. I did it. So day 54 here of 2019 plus $2,246.96. Second green day in a row. And I'm moving back towards being green on the month. I'm not going to be green on this week, unfortunately. In total this week, I'll be down, let's see, my green days are 5 plus 8, so 13, about $13,000 of profit this week, and about $28,000 of losses. So down about $15,000 on the week. All things considered, I think I've had worse red weeks. I'm actually positive that I've had worse red weeks. It just typically isn't the case that I have one day that's so bad as I had this week. Usually if I have a week where I'm down $15,000, it's because I had, 3 days where I lost $6,000 or something like that, and then a couple of break-even days or 4 red days. But this week was 4 green days and then 1 really big red day. So, today is the second brick in the wall of rebuilding my account. And, it's a good experience to have this happen to you when you can afford to have it happen to you, because it forces you to be more disciplined, and you come out on the other side a better trader. This year I've had some big green days, I've had some big red days, and I hope that this year I don't have a red day as bad as the one that I just had this week. But no doubt I will have some good sized red days through this year. It's part of the deal. It comes with the territory of trading with big size. But I will also have some big green days. And if I can get a little bit better at trading some of these grinders, who knows? Maybe I'll set a record at some point this year of my new biggest green day. Right now it's at 40 grand, which is a pretty awesome green day. But, just going to grind on kind of small numbers for right now, $2,000 to $3,000 a day, knowing that in the next week or so I'll be able to be out of this hole and back at all-time highs in this account. All right, so that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Get some rest. Those of you guys who are Warrior Pro students, you can watch the live trading archives. Lots of trades from this week were uploaded, so those will be good opportunities for you guys to watch those and learn from my mistakes. I know, Stephen, that stocks are reverse split because it shows right here on my charts. So, boom, I see that, and that tells me it's a reverse split. So I can see it pretty much as soon as I pull up the chart, I'm seeing that it's a reverse split. And of course, this one I also saw a former runner. So there were two things on that one that looked good. All right, everyone. So I will see you guys first thing on Monday morning. Enjoy the weekend. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.